This is pretty funny.
This was great. This is great. Have you seen this yet, Sam?
I have not seen it. I'm going to, I promise. And maybe we can try and get Maron on before his show ends.
I just mean this clip. This was making the rounds because it's so relevant. Maron did a great dead-on impression, I think, here of Theo Von.
He recorded this, probably a couple months ago, at least, I would imagine. And hits harder in the wake of the Nelk brothers. Is that what they're called?
Nelk boys.
Nelk boys or whatever it is.
Getting dressed down by
those
Bassem.
30-year-old boys.
Yes. Yeah. Nelk boys. What was that show? They drove the rebel car. And,
Bad Boys?
No. Just a good old boys.
Dukes of Hazzard?
No. Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh, yeah. They were a little more mature than the Nelk boys.
Yeah, they never interviewed Benjamin Netanyahu and went in blind. But
they would never run from the cops either because they are cops.
Yeah, exactly.
I think if Hitler were alive today, he'd probably appear on Theo Von's podcast. And Theo would be like, "See, y'all did a lot of meth, right? I mean, all the Nazis were all fucked up on meth, right, Hitler? That shit'll make you crazy, dog. I did some meth once. I was up for 3 days, and then I ate a live bird. No shit, Hitler, a live bird, bro. Hey, Hitler, you probably didn't even hate the Jews. That was just the meth making you crazy, dog. Hey, Hitler." Do you want to apologize to all the Jews right now on my show? No? I get it.
Oh, it's spot on.
I strongly recommend both of his last two specials. He's been on fire lately, last few years.
It's a little bit too accurate. It's funny because it's true.
Yeah. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back. All right, let's play. There's nothing else to say, really. After that.
I guess it's just, but this promulgation of these overgrown teenage boy podcasters who act like they have no responsibility to their audience is a bit of a unique dynamic, right? It was so striking when Bassem called out one of those Nelk boys, and he was like, we messed up, and then that's the best I can do is apologize. It's like, no, the best you can't. You're not 16 getting caught drinking at a house party. You just interviewed a war criminal, and you have a response. I don't understand this almost learned helplessness with these men that are supposedly alpha males, by the way. Aren't they all kind of adjacent to the manosphere? Not Theo Von, but maybe those Nelk boys. It is. When we're in a moment of fascism, Trump is also the strong man who's also constantly victimized. It's funny how it almost replicates itself with these manosphere guys. They're innocent little doves, but they're also alphas, and I don't know how you can make that work.
I have two thoughts on this. One is, it is just it's absolutely a total ignoring of the fact that you're a citizen.
Yeah.
And selling it out for dollars. That's basically what it is. Yep. It's just it's just selling out your responsibility as a citizen to the country, or to any country or any society, for money. And, it has been a slippery slope, right? Bill Clinton goes on Arsenio and plays the sax, and it's okay, he's just going on there and being humanized and, whatnot. He's obviously a human, and, nobody thought oh, wait a second. Does Arsenio have a responsibility to question Bill Clinton? Now, of course, he was a candidate at that time, but
Obama
it goes on and on. And,
yeah.
And then Obama... The irony is Obama goes on Maron's show, and I think in many respects, Maron more or less stayed away from politics in that interview. I don't remember all of it, but it was more about the experience of being president on the way out. Now, there's a lot of people who felt you got the president in front of you. You ask questions that are hard questions, even if you're not a journalist in that way. And I guess like if you wanted to draw a line, it's one thing to say like, all right, I have the president on and I'm only going to talk about like life experiences. Like, no, you're not going to be able to do politics. If you open the door to politics, I'm going to ask you questions about politics. Right. Otherwise, it's like, you know, what cereal do you eat? Or is it hard being the most powerful person in the world? Or whatever it is. And you know, I couldn't do an interview like that. I wouldn't know what questions to ask. Just in terms, I can't relate to people in that way. But the biggest problem is like when you have the attitude of like a talk show host and allow them to talk about an ongoing genocide on your show. And you're still like, okay, so you want to kill all the Palestinians, but like, what's your exercise regime?
Yeah.
Or, you know, how do you stay fit? Or like, do you take omega-3?
They literally asked him about hot dogs, if he liked hot dogs.
For Burger King and McDonald's.
Oh, and he went hard for Burger King, like the sicko that he is. I mean, over McDonald's.
This is the problem, and there is no. And the other problem is that there's no entities that can say like, hey, wait a second, you should put your civic duty above the profit motive.
Yeah.
Like, who's going to say that? Spotify's not going to say that. None of these corporations are going to say it. YouTube's not going to say it. And frankly, a huge, vast majority of our society won't say it because they want to make money.
But also, what are the conditions that lead to a situation where there's zero concept of civic responsibility or duty anymore? And it's the conditions that we're seeing now where, like, Harris selling democracy to people, it's what we talked about. When people hear that, and she's around there with Liz Cheney, it's like, oh, the system that's like not done anything for me and my wages are stagnating and I can't buy a home. Okay, I'm going to stay home. Or maybe I'll hear what the guy has to say who's blaming at least people. They're at least he's at least blaming somebody. But like that's part of what it is, right? Is that we just we're in a cynical moment because our politics haven't delivered for people, and it gives oxygen for that.
You could go from 1992 with Bill Clinton and his DLC-backed sort of corporate perspective, sort of like pure, like full-on sort of, or soft neoliberalism, where his pitch was, if you play by the rules and, you know, do what you're supposed to have this opportunity to through those 20 or 30 years where people played by the rules and got screwed, to Donald Trump saying like, you're a sucker if you play by the rules, and you're a sucker if you play by the rules. I gave money to everybody. You're a sucker if you pay taxes. You're a sucker.
Yep.
And that's basically that trajectory. Because, you know, Bill Clinton's policies, I'm sorry, were not consistent with the idea if you play by the rules, but also like those rules are set up in a rigged game. And so he could never, it was always a lie. The rules themselves were always a lie. It was a rigged game that was just going to shoot the productive qualities and what society produces to a narrower and narrower number of people.
And then that's when we get back to what we were talking about, that Montana knife guy. Like, what Trump offers for some people is there's a level of projection or like wish fulfillment of him breaking the rules. They hate the rules, so he breaks every rule.
Yep.
And like, we're at the bottom of that barrel here.
Felonious Monk says the P.T. Barnum effect. Yes, or Mesmer. California Resistance Sam, it's the same with the so-called mostly television journalists who go on late night shows to yuck it up. Always makes me feel uneasy. It's very unserious.
Yeah. I mean, the right probably sees that Colbert Kamala interview and goes, well, we could do that too. And like, I'm sure that, and frankly, like they might have a point there, but the difference in terms of who's more dangerous is a chasm.
All right, let's check in with.
How do we turn the Maron comedy clip into our most depressing conversation of the day?
Exactly.
I think Maron would have been proud.
No, sure, he definitely would have. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.